Hello, Dada.
Hi.
You have been touring all over Europe for many months now. Mm-hmm. So my first question today is about your show with Carmen. Mm-hmm. So you had your own vision of Carmen, and you had also, just before, your own vision about Swan Lake. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with Carmen, what I wanted to do actually is I really wanted to give myself the challenge of finding the woman, because Carmen is a very complex character. There's so many layers to her. You know, she's not just a sweet woman, you know, she's a very passionate, she's very
tough woman.
Yes, she's a very tough woman. And I really, because before I did Carmen, I did Romeo and Juliet, and I danced Juliet, who's very innocent and very soft. So the contrast from Juliet to Carmen was so big that, it was really something that I really wanted to challenge myself with. Mm.
And concerning your part in Carmen, you seemed really, you had a lot of enthusiasm on dancing flamenco. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about your involvement, your artistic involvement with Rosanna Maya? I think she was your dance teacher.
Yes. I met Rosanna this year, actually, and I always love fusing different dance techniques in my work. So I thought with Carmen it would be very interesting to fuse with flamenco, and also because it was not a very familiar language to me, you know, but because I love to fuse, I thought, okay, let me fuse with flamenco. And so I asked Rose to come in and give flamenco classes, you know, because I think that also if you're going to reference different dance techniques in your work, it's very good to know the rules, even if you break the rules. But it's very good to know the basics and to know what's what. And so we've been doing flamenco since I think August, and we've grown so much, and our understanding of the dance form has just changed so much, and we're becoming more comfortable. It's such a passionate art form, and I love it so much. And I'm even considering doing it even when we're not doing Carmen, because it's so much fun and it makes me happy. So yeah, it's just something that I think is such a gift, because you really get involved with the passion and your soul, and it's visceral. So yeah, I'm in love with it.
And concerning the different performances you made, so there was Carmen, there was also Swan Lake. Mm-hmm. So you decided to fuse several dances. Mm-hmm. Among those dances, there were also African traditional dances.
Well, it's mostly Zulu dance, actually. But also taken from West African dance, you know. So it wasn't really just one specific traditional dance. It was referencing a whole lot of them. Yeah.
Okay. Did you see some similarities between flamenco and social gatherings? Thanks to flamenco and African traditional dances.
Yeah, I mean, it was very interesting when we started doing flamenco to learn about the history of where it comes from. So there are references of Indian dance, of African dance, of Egyptian dance. And so, you know, as we're doing it now, we getting to understand where the art form comes from. And we also learning that African dance and flamenco are not so far apart, you know. So when we're doing it, we have that understanding of what the art form is, you know, and it's very nice to know that they actually can speak to each other very, very well. Yeah.
Okay, so it was not just a discovery for you; it was something true from the start that you could mix those dances.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always very aware of, you know, okay, with Swan Lake, for instance, it's a classical dance, and the music is classical, so I wanted to put something that was completely different and make a big contrast within the music and the movement vocabulary, you know, because people have said that you can never really fuse African dance to classical music, and I thought that was a very interesting notion, so then I tried it, you know. I often work a lot like that, where when people say to me something cannot be done, I go and I try it out, because that's just in my nature. I don't like to think that you can't do something, just because society says you can't do it. I think that it's always very good to try out something new. And so with Tchaikovsky and the African dance, at the beginning it was a little bit difficult, but then with practice and more practice, it started coming together, and now it feels like they were made for each other. Yeah.
Some time ago, you choreographed "We've Used the Hour" from William Kentridge. So in this show, in this part, you're also dancing. Mm-hmm. And do you believe that in life, or maybe in your own life? Mm-hmm. Time is going too fast, and do you wish you could slow time? Mm-hmm. Because now you're a choreographer, mm-hmm. you're a dancer, mm-hmm. you have been doing many things mm-hmm. for several years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it changes every time, sometimes I wish I had more time to rest. Sometimes I wish I didn't have so much time to rest, so it depends on what is going on. I do think that sometimes time goes too quickly and sometimes too slowly, but you learn to work with time as well, I mean, even in choreography, you learn to work with tempo and pacing, with choreography. So I think that it depends where you are in your life, and I think that it's something that is always going to keep going up and down with time. You've got to just fill up the time or just make up the time somehow. That's the challenge of life, is that you don't always have all the time that you need, or sometimes you have too much time. So you have to just be, I think, just creative with it. Yeah.
So about his work, William Kentridge said many things, mm-hmm. including that he prefers to speak about a notion of time as a process. Mm-hmm. And also dance was very important to him, mm-hmm. because he thought also life is about unfoldings. Mm-hmm. So things that maybe go together, but that have a start.
Goes around and then comes back, and yeah. I mean, Refuse the Hour was an interesting project for me to work on, because I'd never worked with a visual artist, and also I'd never done so much film. And there was a lot of filming, things going forwards and backwards, and just a lot of time spent on the process. And it wasn't like in the beginning when we started working, we knew exactly what we were doing. We didn't know, actually. We just all sort of came together and just played, basically, and that is what came out of it. And it was a very interesting way of working, because I normally know exactly what I want to do and what I want to fuse and stuff like that. So it was very challenging to work in a different way. It just opened my mind up to a whole nother way of working, and also just working with different people and allowing different people into my world, and being allowed into their world. It was a very special project.
So Dada, you are South African. You have been studying dancing at the age of 11. Mm-hmm. So then you went to Europe, to Brussels, yes. Exactly, in Anna Teresa de Kerstmaker School. Yeah. So you started your life as a dancer at the Dance Factory in Johannesburg, yes. when you were 11 years old. Mm-hmm. Now you have been an artist in residency. Yes. You have also been a teacher. Mm-hmm. So what kind of challenges do you believe they will have to deal with?
Well, I mean, when I started dancing at the age of 11, we had support. So we had funding from the Royal Netherlands Embassy, and that kind of stopped, I think, in around 2001, 2002. And it became really difficult, because I am used to training every single day. But the challenges for the kids now is that there aren't so many resources, because our government has cut down funding for the arts quite dramatically. Mm-hmm. So it's really difficult for the young dancers now, because they don't have the consistency of training that I had, for instance. I mean, I was dancing 7 days a week. But for them, at the moment, with the training program that we're running at the Dance Factory, they can only really dance once a week. Which is really not enough if you wanting to become a professional dancer. So yeah, it's a very big challenge, but I am hoping that one day I will be able to build a school and really just make, just normal training more accessible for the kids, because I think that it would be a shame if we just stopped and didn't have ongoing training, because I think that it's very important. And also with dance, you don't stop training. You're training even when you're performing. You're training all the time. Because there isn't you get there with dance. It's just you have to keep working on your technique all the time. So yeah, my wish is to be able to one day open a school. As a dancer, you have to be versatile. If a different choreographer asks you to do, I don't know, katak or flamenco or Spanish dance or Indian dance, you've got to be open to doing that. So yeah,
I think the Dance Factory is very unique in its genre because it's the only school of this kind in South Africa. What kind of things do you wish to bring additionally to those kids?
I think that's something that I've witness a lot in Europe is how kids have access to theatre, and I think that is so important because they go to theatre when they're very young, so it is not like a shock for them to go and watch dance or theatre or go to an exhibition. So I think that in addition to what the Dance Factory is already doing, I would love to make that more accessible for them so that they can discuss artwork at the age of 8, at the age of 11, so that they can talk about different dance performances that they see, or, so that they can read books and see art. And because I think that a world without art is a very sad and very, very plain, very boring world, And I think that art is just creates such a beautiful layer with life and within the world. So yeah, that for me would be something that is very important. Just education in general about the art world.
So you wish that South Africa has more artists and more dancers in the coming years?
Absolutely. I think that for South Africa to have more artists and for the artists to be acknowledged, not just as entertainers, but as people that are actually a very important part of society would be really something really great.
Okay, thank you very much, Dada. And what are your next projects?
I'm going to take 2 months off in February, March, because I'm turning 30 actually in February. So I want to make a new work and I want to do Le Sacre du Printemps. And there is this traditional dance from my home language, which is called Tswana dance, which is actually the language that I speak in the beginning of Common. Yes. So there's a traditional dance from that region, and I want to learn it and fuse that with Stravinsky. So, yeah. But I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I think it's going to be very challenging because the music of Stravinsky is very challenging. But yeah, it's another new challenge and I'm willing to take it. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you so much.